All aboard! All right, today we are punching our tickets and we are headed to Florida. That's right, on the old Jamestown Railroad. We're headed right your way there in Florida. Enjoy the show. Hey, everybody, I'm here today with Jerry. Is it Fierro?
That's correct.
Right. And Jerry lives in Florida. And I've been listening to his CD while I've been painting all day.
Nice.
And it's called,
The
yeah,
dog live at the DogTooth.
DogTooth. And
DogTooth.
that's a sports club down there.
It is. It's a sports and music bar, and I'm not sure where the name came from. I think it was a restaurant in New Jersey that the owner just really liked, so he used the name down here.
I went to the site and checked out the menu. It looks good.
Yeah, it's actually very good.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to offer. I don't know how they do it with all those dishes on there, but one thing I will say is his pizza is really good, which is unusual for Florida.
Yeah.
You know, it's more of a Northeast pizza, so you know there's tons of people here from New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
They probably honed their skills for you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah. Found a good recipe.
I think he had to keep up the reputation because this particular place, Mudbone has been playing there for 11 years every Tuesday, and we've been through 5 owners. So you know it was successful a couple of times, and then the owner sold. One time it was not successful at all. The last incarnation of this particular place, it was called the Vodka Bar.
Yeah.
The owners just didn't do it right, so it only lasted 1 year. But this guy, Stoyan, good guy, likes music. He's got live music 7 nights a week, and he's good. He supports us. We support him. You know, it's a relationship. It's just one
Exactly.
of those, you know. We have to do our part. He has to do his part. So I mean,
Excellent.
we're all happy. So
And that makes a difference. I know that I always tell people it's a lot to do with the chemistry that you form with the people you're performing for. And it makes a big difference, it makes it easier, it makes it fun. And
yeah.
sometimes that just doesn't happen.
No, I know. My Steady Monday gig is just the opposite. It's for a corporation. You know, it's a restaurant, it's an upscale restaurant. So we have to behave to begin with, which we totally get, and we can do. I mean, it's nice. I don't have to bring. You know, I play congas and percussion as well, so I have to lug that stuff around. But otherwise, I'm just bringing harmonica and a microphone, which I really enjoy. You know, from my days, you know, studying with Sonny Terry, that acoustic sound is just beautiful on the harmonica. And
I agree.
you know, when I don't have to compete with electric guitars and bass and drums, it's just a beautiful thing.
And I understand that as well. So I want to get into your background. I want to know where you started, and the people listening want to know where and how you fell in love with the harmonica.
Well, I have a cousin, and when I was, you know, my formative years, 14, 15, 16, he's a couple of years older than I am, and he had a band called Harlequin. They all had long hair, and it was always beautiful women hanging around. So I was very impressionable back then, and I dug it. I mean, they were playing Zeppelin and Tull and all the stuff we listened to. And he played harmonica and sang mostly, but he played harmonica, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, you can carry it around in your pocket. You know, what better way? And there were no musicians in my family. You know, my brother had a brief stint with the accordion when he was young, which was another influence.
The accordion and the harmonica. That's pretty cool, man. We've been talking about the chemistry that happens between people, instances, restaurants, club owners, and everyone in between. That voodoo, that hoodoo, the thing that makes it all work, that chemistry. And you're going to hear it here with this clip I put in here for you.
I'm gonna use just whatever it takes. Who do the voodoo to you? Baby, can't you see? Who do the voodoo to you? Mama, you know it's me. I'm a yin yang toso mongo bootai. Hey, scream pretty baby, but you can't get away. I'm a yin yang toso mongo bootai. Hey, scream pretty baby, just remember what I say. I can mop up the jumbles in a 3-ton stud. I got a zombie 7. I got some biscuit mud. I got the heebie-jeebies. Hustling working for me. Red googly mooglies, I got the voodoo key. Who do the voodoo to you? Baby, can't you see? Who do the voodoo to you? Mama, you know it's me. Who do the voodoo to you? 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 Ricky Howard on the guitar. That's Jerry Fierro on the harmonica.
Because I have a huge family, and we would have these backyard parties, and he would sit there and play his accordion, and the relatives would just throw money in a bucket, and I'm like, booga, I'm ready to go. But I didn't start playing until many years later. I didn't start playing. I picked up harp, I think, on my 16th birthday, and by the time I was 17, I was playing in bars, sneaking in. They were sneaking me in to play, and I just had some really good experiences. I had a great teacher right off the bat, Bob Hoochie Coochie Palucci, and he's from my hometown of Paterson, New Jersey. That's where we met. But he's a Long Island guy now, a member of that Long Island Blues Society. Fantastic unsung hero as far as I'm concerned, man. The guy's really got chops. He's melodic. He's got it all. He's got it all. Plus he plays guitar and sings now too. And he just sent me a couple of his songs, which are really good. But he, in the beginning, I think his most important piece of advice was turn the harp the other way. And I was holding it upside down. I don't remember that. But his most important piece of advice was, I'm going to teach you what not to play, because there's a whole lot more that you can play than that you can't. So he taught me in the beginning the notes to stay away from, and which is, something that I teach my students today. I mean, it was really, really helpful. But, over the years, I met a guy, I think when I was 16. I'd probably only been a few months into playing, 4 or 6 months into playing, and I answered an ad in this old rag that we had in New Jersey called the Aquarian magazine, just the music scene magazine. And as you probably know, back then in the late 70s, 80s, the scene was quite a bit better. There were tons of places to play. The drinking age was 18, so there were more people out. And I answered an ad. I don't remember exactly what the ad said, but it was for blues, and I called the guy up, and he gave me an audition. Me and a blind violinist named Violet. And Violet wasn't very good, so I got the gig. And this guy, his name is Son Lewis, S-O-N Lewis. And he's like a historian of the blues. He knows everything. He knows who wrote it, when it was written. He plays really great guitar, acoustic guitar, like Delta style. I just love, the way he does it. And, he was from the town right next door, which bared the Paterson name. He was in West Paterson. I was in South Paterson. And we just played together. We played together for 35 years.
Wow.
And still, when I visit New Jersey, we try and get together and do something.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we did a whole lot together. Played with a bunch of people. Did the whole IBC thing 25 years ago. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
That's a big experience right there.
Yeah, but I've played with Sonny for, I want to say, about 8 years or so. And then I got into a rock and roll band that played like 7 nights a week. And it was, we did a lot of Grateful Dead at first, but the band evolved over the years that I played with them, and we did everything. The drummer, very special person, took a liking to me. It was probably because I was a bagel man. I made bagels back then for a living, and to visit the band house where they all lived with like 3 dozen bagels in a bag, you're the hero, So he liked me, and I would sit in, and then before long I was a roadie, doing 2 or 3, 4 songs a night, and I had to step up my game because I wanted to be on stage more. So with the eclectic nature of what they did, I started taking percussion lessons. I took flute lessons, and I got good at it over some time. And before long, I was just a full-fledged member of the band. And we just toured up and down New Jersey, New York area, metro area. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. We had a lot of fun. I don't have a bank account from it.
Well,
I don't think anybody really does.
I don't think. Well,
But
even
I wouldn't.
Yeah, even the big ones, it's like how much do they make off of it? And
Right.
you learn things every day. I mean, if you don't
Yeah.
sign the right contract, I had a
Yeah.
friend with a couple gold records, but he didn't sign the right contract, and he was pretty mad about that. So he was out playing till the end of his days, clubs and things, and just you know having a rough time of it. But he did what he loved, and he was great at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's the story from most. It's a struggle, but we love it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. You can't make a living unless you anymore. I mean, I don't know if you ever could. I think maybe in the early days, like you said in the 70s, those guys made money, if they
yeah. You had to be in the right place at the right time. It didn't matter how good you were.
yeah.
You had, even if you had great music that you wrote yourself, you still had to get it out there. So it was work. It was a lot of hard work, and only the truly dedicated to it survived. And I decided a long, long time ago that I'm just going to work a day job. I'm going to work a day job. I'm going to play music at night. I'm going to support my family, raise my kids,
Yeah.
and as long as I can keep my foot in the door and keep my chops up, I'm okay. I never needed to be a big star or be known or anything. It doesn't really matter. I just love music and love the harmonica.
Yeah. And learning it is, I think it's a lifetime adventure to be out and doing music.
Oh
I
yeah.
myself too didn't, I did the same as you. In fact, I was in Charleston in the 70s, going to like the Flying Dutchman and all the little clubs on the coast there. I spent some time in Florida too, but I wasn't into music then. I was going to college. But I never looked out to become a musician. It was actually kind of something that I fell into after working a day job until I became disabled, and then just found the music to be really healing and fun and always an adventure. It's like a magic carpet ride, the harmonica. For me, it's just been that way. But like you were saying, you got out there and you played. The more I played and the more I studied, then the more I learned that I needed to learn more.
Yeah. Oh, I still think I suck.
Yeah. Well, you
You
blow
know,
too, man. So
we're yeah, we're chasing it. We're chasing it.
yeah, it's like
There's so many great teachers out there. That's another reason. I'm sure you know that I have an annual workshop
that's what
here
I
in
was wanting
Florida.
to talk about. That's
Yeah,
exciting. Yes.
the Paradise Coast Harmonica Workshop, and that's one of the reasons because there's so many great teachers. I want people to meet these guys, and I want them to support these guys and learn from them because they are great teachers. I mean, Todd Parrott, I'll have Todd at every one of my events.
He's a great
So,
teacher.
yeah, unless he's off doing something, I'm catching it just right this year because he's having a baby, and the baby will be a couple months old by the time I have my workshop. So he should be able to get away. I'm praying that he'll be able to get away.
What is the date of this year's workshop?
This year's workshop, so far it's not set in stone, but the weekend I picked is June 9th, 10th, and 11th, and it's in Fort Myers, Florida. Super super convenient. Um, if you're flying in, you fly right into RSW. The shuttle picks you up, brings you to the hotel, which is only a couple miles away, and the whole event is at the hotel. So it's kind of like a mini spa,
Yeah.
without the big vendor room. Have the banquet hall, where they hold their big events. It's a really nice hotel. It's a Holiday Inn, but when you think Holiday Inn, you think like a little roadside Holiday Inn. This is not. This is a big one, and they cater to the airport. So they have all the people from the airlines stay there. So they got to keep the place nice, otherwise they'll lose the business. But they really love when we come in.
I
The
bet.
first the first year The first year we did our evening jams in the lounge. They let us use the lounge. Last year was a little bit too loud, so they said you have to stay in the banquet room, which actually turned out much better because we can play later. We didn't have to worry about how loud we were or, how much racket we made because we were far enough away from the guests that it didn't bother anybody. But still left the door open for guests to stroll through and check it out, which many did. It's a great time. It's really great hang. It's 3 days of just, I think we do 4 classes per day. 4 or 5 classes per day. And slots. So there could be simultaneous classes going on at the same time. It could be up to like 8 classes a day. That's a lot. I like to structure it more of having 2 in the morning, just one teacher teaching for an hour and a half, then take a break, have another teacher teach for an hour and a half, lunch, some hangout time, and then do the same thing in the afternoon. But all the while, I have a band that comes in, and these are a couple of the guys that I play with on Tuesday nights now. Not that Mudbone band that's on that CD, but Josh Pitbull Rowan. He's a guitar player. He recently did the North Carolina Harp Fest for Todd. Him and his father plays bass, and their drummer drove up to North Carolina and stayed for a few days. And he's super supportive. I mean, he'll sit there. Todd had a really great venue where it was a big room, nice big stage, plenty of room for seating, and he would just sit on the stage and just play groove and let everybody just go ahead and go, kind of like a circle jam at Spa that can go for an hour.
That's when everybody's got their mojo working. Let's listen to Jerry playing Mojo Working right now with Mudbone.
Don't work on. I got my mojo working, but it just don't work on. I wanna love it so bad, honey, till I don't know what to do. I'm going down that Louisiana to get me a mojo. Down that Louisiana to get me a mojo. I'm gonna have all you pretty women rich and my command. I got my mojo working. Got my mojo working. I got my mojo working. Got my mojo working. Got my mojo working. Got my mojo working. I got my mojo my mojo working, but it just don't work. I said it just don't work. I said it just don't work on you. Thanks for singing along.
What the hell is a mojo? I don't know, but it don't work. Lost me, Mary Jerry.
Been friends with Adam Gusso when we were young, like 18, 19. We played, we didn't live too far apart. We didn't really hang out, but we would visit each other's gigs and jam together and, talk. But 27 years went by like that, without speaking or anything. So I reached out and I said, so I see that you've been at this spa thing. Tell me about it. And he wrote me a letter back and he said, if you're used to being the best player in the room, you won't be. So just relax and don't worry about it. And then he said, after 5 days, you're ready to pull your hair out. But I don't find that. I find that I enjoy every minute of it.
Every second. I remember meeting you. The first time I met you was in San Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
in the vendor area, and you came and said, "Hey, how you doing?" It wasn't my first spa, but it was my first spa being a vendor, and in that element of it. And so I've gone in every way. I've gone as a beginner, it's somebody that plays now and earns money, as a broadcaster, vendor, been on the stage. That was the scariest moment of my life. Absolutely. But I'm not the only one. I've watched the big pros be very nervous to get on that stage because you're in front of your peers and yeah. But still though, after you're done performing, you get down, you're like, well, that was cool. I did it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the harmonica community is that they're so warm. There's not all the hush hush behind you if you make a mistake. Mistakes are not really mistakes; they're learning experiences. I mean, I remember my first performance at Spa was in, I think it was Oklahoma. I think it was Tulsa. The last one in Tulsa. Your previous guest, Charlie, and I did a set together.
Nice.
Yeah. He did a set. I did a set. I brought up Nick Clark with me, played some guitar, and Kyle Rowland played guitar for me.
He's a good
And
kid.
we had a ball. Oh, they're all good kids.
They're
They're
just so full of energy and wonderful.
I know. And then Charlie and I did a few songs together. It was really good. We got a really good response. Somebody recorded it, so it is actually archived.
Yeah, I got ours recorded.
Yeah.
I just listened to it the other day and I thought, what an excellent job Christopher Richards did on that sound on the one that I was on. And it was just, I sounded good. My vocals were really good. It was great. And the sound text, every single element that goes into it, there's not a flaw. Those guys pull it off to, it's something you don't want to miss. And I've had to, and with this COVID stuff. So I'm hoping to make Tulsa this year, but I'm so involved myself in a lot of other things. We're going to have to see how it plays out. As far as I know, they're still doing it.
Yeah, they're hoping. I don't know if you know, I put it out there every week that I host a Zoom harmonica hangout like every Thursday night. Yeah. Most Thursday nights, except for last week I had a nice well-paying gig, so I took the night off. But I've been doing it since the start of COVID, just to kind of keep people connected. And I'm guilty too. I wanted to stay connected with people. I didn't want to lose relationships because most of us are all miles apart, so we would never get to see each other. So I just started, just said, hey, anybody want to come hang out? And, I get everybody comes on. I've had Jerry Portnoy on there. PT Gazelle comes on regularly. Mad Cat. Rob Pepperosi comes on. Todd's there every week. You know, I mean, it's awesome. And a host of other players. They just pop in. They pop in and out. TJ Clay. You know, you never knew who's going to come in. I never know who's going to come in.
Wow. So
And then there were some regulars.
Or how to
Yeah, I put it on my wall every week. I usually put a picture. I can show you. This is just going to be broadcast. The audio is just going to be broadcast, right?
on this, correct. I
Yeah.
archive these videos, but I
Right, but I'm gonna show you the picture that I normally put up.
Okay, I see that. Oh yes, is that your?
That's my grandbaby. Yeah, it's my new grandbaby, Olivia, and I drew in a little harmonica in her hand, and I just put that up there, and I say, okay, you know, we're having a Zoom hangout tonight.
Do you hear that, everybody? So go to Facebook, go to Jerry's page, and join on in. We did a little bit of that here with the Berkeley Harmonica Club, and I miss it. They stopped after a while, but I don't know what so you do lose connection. But I've been able to stay a little connected doing these podcasts, because
Yeah.
I hook up and talk to people and get to see them, and it's wonderful because I do miss seeing everybody there. I planned for it. I become obsessed with it, and my family, they have to hear about it, and they're like, 1 minute you're going, the next minute you don't think you are. So I go through all these things because I want to get there and form those relationships. I can remember first time I ever saw Buzz Krantz, and gentlemen open the door for me and say, "Come on in, ma'am," and just so sweet and welcoming, like you said, and just each person, and you meet complete strangers on the first day of it and your lifetime friends after you leave.
Yeah. Buzz is a regular on the Zoom meeting.
Buzz is so
As
fun.
a matter of fact, when he sent me a little emoji with it's his face.
Yeah,
people
those
on
things.
Facebook, I forget what they're called, but it's his face basically as a cartoon with a teardrop coming down his eye. Yeah, he's a special guy, man.
So, in your playing of harmonica, it's always, if you're a beginner out there, which there's a lot of beginners out there, and they're listening for tips and tricks. And what do you, when you're talking to a brand new student, how do you approach that?
Well, it's really unique to each person. Usually, I ask them to show me what you got, because usually people don't approach you if they just picked up the harmonica. They usually have a month or two of trying to figure it out before they, start going crazy.
Yeah.
So I usually ask, show me what you got. Don't be nervous. Just anything. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to really judge you, but I am going to judge you. And, you pick it up from there, whether they're breathing correctly, whether they're tense, their tone, is the thing far enough in their mouth? I won't get into tongue blocking versus lip pursing.
Well,
That's although that probably gets more longer threads than anything else on the social media sites.
yeah, I did a podcast about it. I was calling it the Great Debate.
The great debate. It's I do both and don't really even think about it. As I would say, as do most. Professional players don't really think about it's a tongue blocking or lip pursing.
Yeah, I never thought about it
you
until
just-
I started teaching, and I was like, what exactly do I do? So then I started really paying attention, and I went, oh, I think that might be impossible to teach. There's a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
But I really do try. What I do is I'll ask what kind of a style of music do they want to learn, and if it's the blues, then you got to learn tongue blocking. You're not going to get any tone. So I believe that that's true. And if you're going to do melody or you're going to play gospel, you can get away with pucker playing and eat single notes and figure that out. But how else can you do an octave if you're without tongue blocking.
Right.
And you need to do that.
Right.
I try to teach. I'll go through the ropes with them like that too, and ask them, and then follow by listening. I teach children. I'm the art music director in our town here, and kids just the great thing about them is they already think they're great when they pick it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt.
And
I'll
that's
usually try and get the beginners doing a rhythm first, and not really super concerned about whether they can hit a single note. Because anybody can open up and play the chord.
yeah.
And to get a rhythm going like a train or Sonny Terry had a lot of great little rhythms. So to teach somebody something similar that's not quite as syncopated as Sonny, it's not too hard to do.
I'm gonna have
Sonny was
that.
unique because he was so syncopated.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but that's pretty much how I'll approach a beginner, and then get them to, okay, now here's a scale. Try and get it clearly, and try and get the breath. Try not to isolate each note. Try and make it flow up and down.
And I think
Basically, that's it.
else is important. I mean, I think that a lot of people don't. They think it's like I don't want to sit there and do that. They don't understand you're setting up muscle memory, and that it's really good
Right.
to put you into the song correctly.
And ear training too, because
Exactly.
I still haven't. I have taught a couple of people. There's a guy I'm currently teaching now plays piano. He doesn't know a ton of theory. He could figure stuff out. He's got a great ear. So now we're just working on tone and licks.
How fun.
You need a library. You need because I get asked a lot, what do you think about when you're improvising? I don't. You learn to know where to go when you hear a chord coming up. The more you play, the more you're going to hear it. The easier it's going to be on you, because you can anticipate what's coming ahead. So the more you have in your library, it's just going to come out naturally. And I do understand that there are people that struggle with it. I don't know how to explain it. I really don't know how to explain improvisation.
Yeah, you know what
Very
we
difficult.
we were playing. We had band practice Saturday, and we have a stand-up bass player. He plays a lot of other instruments. I want everybody out there to know that we're doing this podcast a little later in the day, and the noise behind me is my dogs. And there's a lot going on in the house that when I do the earlier ones, this was the time appropriate that we could do this, you guys. So this background noise I probably can't cut out, but it's a couple of rowdy dogs behind me there.
They're cheering for you.
Yeah. Well, I had the one's deaf. He used to love to play with me. But anyways, on improvising, I'm a stickler. Like, okay, the song's got to have a beginning and end. It's got to play this way. And I know for jamming here, you guys are doing a lot of improvising, and you're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our bass player loves that. And and all of a sudden, he's doing one of our songs on the bass. It's things I've never even known anybody could do. And then we just took off from there, and took me a couple days, and I had to write him. And I said, man, that was sweet. I can't explain how any of it happened. I'm
jam.
sorry there wasn't a bunch of people to hear it, because they would have went nuts. But yeah,
That's the meaning of a jam.
yeah,
And that's what we try and accomplish on Thursdays. It's sometimes it's hard because you really have to keep the audience engaged too,
yes,
rather than just being up on stage and doing your own thing. But because we played together for a really long time, we had chemistry. We knew you can anticipate where guys are going.
So do you
in
let
there.
guests up on that, or is that
Oh, every
lined up?
week, yeah.
Oh,
We play that. That's about the longest that we'll play on a Tuesday night as the band. And we probably went a little longer that night because we were recording. But then right after that, we don't take breaks or anything. We just bring people up. We just start. And there's no sign-up sheet or anything. You come, you say hi, you tell me what you play, and I get you up on stage at some point. It's
Cool.
just a great night. I've been sending out the live feed every week.
I've been watching them.
So yeah, so you see it. If you hang in there for a while, you never know who you're going to see. You know, if you're going to get anybody good. Last night there were in total 9 harmonica players. There are usually none, so I'm usually playing for 3.5 hours straight, or 3 hours straight without a break. Or I usually
I know
do.
I do it. It's
I
so
take a
fun.
couple songs off.
Yeah, yeah. We do it when we gig because Julio and I, we play a lot, and a lot of times it's 3 hours.
Yeah, but I was master of the hang last night.
Wow,
You know, I got up and played my set, and then I was pretty much done.
because of the
You know,
heart.
I got up. I would just get up and introduce people and get them up, set them up. You know, have a couple different microphones if they don't bring their own.
Is that up on the harmonica lovers today? Did you post it up online?
I did last night. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll have to check it out.
You know what I like about all the harmonica players coming is that they kind of challenge each other, because each week I'll see who was working and who wasn't. You know, because now, down here there's season. It's season. It's getting more, and there's getting to be more and more year-round people here. But when I first came, and it was only 10 years ago I came here, summer was dead. I mean, you can go anywhere on the road, no traffic. You can get dinner for 2 with a bottle of wine for $20. That's not happening anymore. Now it's getting to be like L.A. around here. There's just so many people on the road, and they're doing so much building.
Wow.
And this is Fort Myers, Naples, that area. It's just booming.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if it's rough and cold, there's still something about it that just brings you close.
Yeah,
brings
our
you
whole
closer.
family was from back there, and we'd go as a kid. I'd go and get on the coast, and so it's a warm spot for me because it was family, going. And I've got a lot of family in Florida. In fact, probably pretty close to you. I'm sure that there's a Russ somewhere. The Owens and the Russes they're a pretty big family. My dad's family's huge. We're out here. I'm the only Russ in these hills, except for my brother, and yeah. So we don't have as much family on this side, but it's where I've been, and I love it. It's a lot different, and it's really slowed down and been strange with the COVID thing, but it's starting to open up again, and music's starting to happen. We're kind of in the wine country, so we have a lot of wineries and art openings and things like that, and the wine bars are kind of big here, and that's where a lot of the live music happens here.
Right.
We don't-
Culture.
Yeah,
We're
but
just the Wild West down here.
I feel like we're kind of the Wild West here, up here where we're at too. But we got Sacramento,
Not when it comes to COVID.
you guys were very much the Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were
we were
locked down.
closed for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, we've been closed down off and on, and got it anyway. Wore triple mask and got it anyway. We
Yeah.
got over it here, and so I figure now I'm good. I'm ready to go, rock and roll. I'm ready. We're itching. That's why the band started working out. I know we're going to be back doing our thing. They're opening our little club. We had a club here that called the Academy. It's West Point, so it's the Academy. And that was our spot that we played, and all the people we had music going on down there a few times a week. And they're reopening. So everybody's, when are you going to be back? As soon as she calls us.
That's
know.
it.
So we're lucky in that regard. And we got a lot of musical people here, a lot of musicians in our area. So
Everywhere. This particular area, Southwest Florida, is teeming with talent.
I bet.
In every genre.
Yeah.
I think what it is, a lot of people they get tired of the cold, number one. But as they get a little bit older and they start to slow down, they look for really comfortable places to be. And it's not real comfortable in the summer because it's so hot. But everything is indoors in the summer.
Yeah.
Or outdoors. There's a lot going on outside too, but most venues, if you're outside, you're underneath some kind of cover, and there's fans and misters and all of that stuff. So I mean, it's really year round now.
I remember
But
the spa on Virginia Beach. There was music on every corner.
hmm
I'm sure it's like that there too, huh? Like you've got
yeah. Oh
music
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine has a website, and it's called Things to Do in Southwest Florida. And each day he painstakingly lists every live act that's around. And most days it's, you know, 200, like on a Monday. And this is just this local area, within maybe a 50-mile radius.
Wow.
Yeah. And weekends, forget about it. There are hundreds and hundreds of acts playing. So you can literally walk, depending on where you are, you can literally just walk and see 10 different acts.
Yeah, that's how it
If you're
was.
downtown Naples is gorgeous. And there's a lot of venues. Not clubs per se, mostly restaurants, but a lot of them feature live music.
Yeah.
Jazz, it's not uncommon to see a great jazz band, just walking into a restaurant that has a bar. I mean, it's
Destination.
totally not uncommon. Yeah, or a blues duo, or just singer-songwriter. Tons of singer-songwriter. As a matter of fact, Naples, they set you up every couple of blocks. There's a performer on the
Right.
corner.
Yeah, that's how it was there in
Yeah.
Virginia Beach.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and they kill it. They kill it. If you're good, you can make a ton of money busking.
Nice.
That's not really busking because they're getting paid by the town.
Yeah.
But the tips are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a good scene.
That's
But
cool.
I should really not talk so good about it because I want people to stop coming here. It's too crowded.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's how it is here. It's like there's too many people now.
Well, it's not the easiest thing getting a gig as a harmonica player unless you're fronting.
Right.
If you're singing and fronting a band, then you call the shots, kind of. You know what I mean? There's more. You're more valuable. But just as a harmonica player, there's typically not enough money to go around to pay a fifth person.
Right.
Sometimes even a fourth person.
Right.
That's the one drawback of having so many musicians in one spot, is that there's always somebody that's going to do it cheaper.
Well,
But
when
fortunately,
I was younger, I could get away with it because I looked pretty good up there. And then you get older, and you're like, I don't know. Yeah, that's why I learned to sing and started songwriting and do voice training and stuff and I did congas and drums and all that, but I finally and I'm really lucky now because I can just sing and play my harmonica with Julio and our bass player, and where we're at, we can do good.
Yeah.
We can do all right. But just if you're a harmonica player, it is harder, and that's why you want to let those guys get up there with your band and get those opportunities to play.
Well, one of the first things I did, somebody sent me a flyer for the Florida Harmonica Championships. It's just a contest that, these two guys put on every year. And somebody sent me the flyer, and I said, well, you know what? I don't really know anybody. I was just going to the Mudbone Jam. I would go there every Tuesday just to play a little bit and keep my chops up. I didn't know anyone. I said, well, let me go to this thing. I could meet some people, maybe network a little bit, maybe get a gig. And I ended up winning it. It didn't do really much for my career because I didn't really meet anybody that, then that was hiring. Since then I have developed some nice relationships with people from it.
Yeah.
And so I did it for that reason and that reason only. And it just helps to get out there. If you're a player and you're worried that nobody's going to like you, just get out there and play. Just do it. Because, the more you play, the better you're going to get. And the nicer you are, the more gigs you're going to get. So if you're nice to people and you're not an egomaniac and, you're not a drunk, you're going to get gigs.
Yep. Period.
Yeah, period.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it's always hard if if you've never done that thing and you want to, because when we have the open mic and I'll see a musician and they want to and they're scared, and you help them up on stage and ease that a little bit, and then they're so excited and they go home and come back better the next week, and that opportunity is there at that space and in that time that they might not ever get ever anywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, and if you're a harmonica player, I think if you go to like Jerry, you go down and see what Jerry and them are doing. You get to learn the band, you see the grooves, you see how they work together. Go home and think about doing something in that style and then ask to get up. And if you make brutal mistakes, that's a good learning experience because you know how else are you going to learn if you don't get out there and try?
This
And
is
if
true.
I mean, not everybody's going to love what you do anyways, regardless. Say you got 10 people and 3 like you. That's pretty good odds. You add that by a billion people and you might make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so you guys are looking to doing more stuff, and you've got your harmonica workshop coming up. So what I'd like you to do is, as you get closer to that, maybe we could, when you get everything nailed down, we can do a podcast on that, and we can tell everybody what's a happening. Talk more about last year's.
Last year I had Rob Paparosi, was excellent, and I was explaining a little bit about the room. We get the banquet room for seminars, and then I also have a breakout room where we can either have another seminar going on or just kind of a jam room, hangout room. And the guitar player is usually there. He's usually there playing. Sometimes he's with the bass player too, and they're just playing for the guys. Okay, what do you need? What do you need? What kind of groove do you need? What do you want to work on? The good thing about this guitar player is he plays harmonica too, so he can relate.
Nice.
So that's a real good feature, and it's jam. We just jam all the time. It's jamming. There's always an opportunity to jam during the day, all the way up through when everybody says goodnight. Because I usually don't have the instructors do a full-on set,
Right.
featuring them, because number one, they really don't want to work that hard, and number two, they want to get up there and say what they got to say, and then let other guys have fun. So that's basically how I structure it. You guys want to play, if the instructors want to play, you play as much as you want, but I want the attendees to jam.
Nice.
If they can jam with you, then more better, but just let them have their time. And
You hear that
man, I
out
tell
there,
you,
everybody? This podcast goes all around the world, and so there's listeners that listen. And now we're talking about June of 2022, so that gives you guys time to think about this and prepare and and go somewhere where you're going to get that much time to play and learn. And it's so worth it. I can't emphasize enough how worth it is to be able to play, then sit back and talk and learn and go off by yourself in the hall, come back and play. You just don't get that by going to jams or trying to do it on YouTube. That one-on-one experience, that group experience where everybody's together, it's priceless. It really is.
yeah, absolutely. And the good thing about Florida is that you can bring your family too,
Yeah.
because you're 10 minutes from the beach. So your family can go off and have a beach day or a spa day, or there's so much to do here that,
Yeah.
it's put it this way, guys, it's easier to talk your wives into letting you come to a harmonica event if she comes with you.
Or you're the harmonica player and you want to take your husband
That's correct.
as well, because there are
That's
more
correct.
and more female players
And great ones
and
too.
really great ones, and
Really great ones.
you need to do this. So even if you get a girlfriend to come with you or you come by yourself, don't be afraid. I went to these things by myself and I was a little bit afraid, but it was wonderful. There was never a problem, and everybody there is ready to help. So Florida, I'd say book the ticket, man.
There's a girl out by you, I'm not sure where in California she is. Her name is Sonia Hay. I met her at a Ronnie cellist workshop in Denver, Colorado.
Right.
And, we talked a bit about spa. And she said she was always intimidated, because there's so many men. I said, man, it's changing. I said, it's changing now. Not only are there a lot more female harmonica players, but a lot of the guys are bringing their wives now, too. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's grown quite a bit since, like I said, my first one was in 2009. And then I've watched that evolve. And I have brought a lot of women on board that are from California that go to spa and once they went, they're going to go every year. They're going to try to go every year. Some of them play other instruments, some play in trios and so you just get out there and you don't know what you're going to find. But it's going to be good. So, all right, man. Well, you know what? I'd like to play some of your music here. Do you have any of these in particular you'd want me to put in the podcast?
Doesn't really matter. I think I'm playing on every one of them. I sing a couple of them.
Yeah. You are. Sounds great. They're long jams. They're not like songs. So
no, we're jamming. Yeah,
you'd be jamming. Yeah. So you're gonna want to get your harps out and jam along with them. So that's a good way to do it too.
So briefly, you were talking about teaching kids before. I failed to mention Honer, who endorses me. I'm super, super proud of it. But at one of my workshops, Todd and I took a few hours off. I Skyped in Rolly Platt to teach a class to keep the attendees busy. Steve Geiger was there along with Connor Frontera. They were holding the class to keep the guys busy while we were out. And Todd and I went and taught 350 kids at two local schools. One, they Skyped in. Just two schools, like the principals knew each other, they were friends. They Skyped the schools in. So Todd taught a class, Skyped into the school I went to, and I just kind of monitored the class. And it was a blast. It was a blast to see the joy on the kids' faces.
We're going to have some fun here. I'm going to put in a song that is on the CD called Lollipop Mama. And they're cooking and they're having a good time. And you can just feel it in this song. Then we'll get back to a little bit more of the interview before we're done here today.
She called me her lollipop. When she starts to love and she never know quite when to stop. She's a hot loving woman, she loved me both night and day. Yeah, she's a hot loving woman, she loved me both night and day. Well, now I'm so scared my lollipop gonna melt away. Well, she shake like jelly, and jelly don't shake itself. Yeah, she shake like jelly, and jelly don't shake itself. Well, she shake for me, she shake for nobody else. Well, we rock every morning and every midnight too. Yeah, we rock every morning and every midnight too. I don't want to complain because you might suffer too. I don't think so. Dave, you look ridiculous, man.
Hey, no moshing, no moshing.
Okay, you remember the Gong Show? G the Dancing Machine. Here we go. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, she's a real strong woman. She lay still on a railroad track. She's a real strong woman, lay still on a railroad track. She got a hug like a bear. She almost break my back. I said, slow down, baby, 'cause you hurting me. You know I'm only a little guy. Slow down, baby, 'cause you hurting me. But I feel so good from my head down to my feet. Yeah, I got a big fat mama, she called me a lollipop. Yeah, I got a big fat mama, she called me a lollipop. When she starts to love me, she never know quite when to stop.
That's gonna leave a mark.
We're going to talk about how great Horner is right now in teaching kids. That's what the subject we're on. I'm the art and music director at Blue Mountain Coalition for Youth and Families, and we run from grants from the state of California, and I'm hugely involved in projects and my kids. And every Friday I get to go down and spend the afternoon with them. And Drew has sent me special 20s, and so the kids get their own harmonicas, and then they learn a song, and I teach them singing as well, so they can kind of do a little bit of both. And there's no better joy than with the kids, because they already think that they're good. So just by talking to them and not discouraging that in the least, they're halfway there.
Yeah. Well, you know, that was the great thing about Sonny Terry, was he was always encouraging. You know, even if he goofed up. I mean, I have samples of my lessons. Like, that's typically what I will do in a lot of these workshops, is I'll just do a class called Sonny and Me, and here's what it was like to take lessons from Sonny. You know, not really teaching people how to play like Sonny, but just listening to excerpts of the recordings, big laughs and some really sour notes, and just fun. But he was never, you know, if I was struggling with something, he would just say, all right, we'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. But otherwise, whoa, you're pretty good there. You know, you got a strong whoop. Yeah, so it was great. I totally get it. And I'm waiting for the day where like a teenager comes and says, you know, you're the guy that inspired me to play, you know?
Yeah.
And
well, for me,
yeah.
it's been about little girls and women, because they cannot believe, number one, that you're up there and that you're performing, and they won't take their eyes off of you. So you're mentoring without really trying a different generation of girls that aren't going to say, I can't do that because it's a boy's instrument.
Right. Well, I think we ruined a girl last night. I mean, there was a little girl, she was probably 5, and she was out there and she had 2 egg shakers and she's shaking them. So we brought her up on stage and she jammed with us, and we even gave her a solo. You know, we brought the band way down and featured her, and she had a huge smile on her face. So I think we ruined her. But I did leave her with a piece of advice, and that was to go to college. So.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, and in your spare time, play music.
Yeah.
And in your spare time, go on over to Facebook and like the Harmonica Lovers page. Jerry posts things there as well as people from all around the world, all kinds of things happening and playing. And the site's if you love harmonica, and we keep it going with no spam and no hate talk and no political agendas. Just the love of music. I've enjoyed talking to Jerry, and I'm going to post along with this podcast links to his page so that you can keep up on what's going on. And we'll try to get him back on here as the time for his event gets closer. Thank you, as always, for listening to the podcast here with Nedra Russ. And keep on loving music. I'm going to say goodbye to him now, and I'm going to leave us with a little bit of maybe one more of his jams when we're done here.
Cool. I appreciate the time. It was nice to talk to you.
It was good talking to you, buddy.
And come hang out on my Zoom. I know, it's tough for you guys out there because it's like dinner time. I do it at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
So it's, 6 o'clock is a tough time when you're on the West Coast to really do anything. But you're always welcome.
Well,
I do it because I get home from work and it's the only opportunity during the week where I get to spend a couple hours, more than 15 minutes with my wife. And she goes to bed early, so I take a half hour for myself, and then I do the Zoom, and I'm usually on it for, could be hours.
You got to have time for that grandbaby too.
Oh my God. Yeah, she's incredible. We're so in love. It's we find ourselves jonesing by the end of the week because we only see him on weekends.
That's wonderful, man.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'm really
talking
enjoying
about her.
it.
People, you can't see this, but he just lit up like a Christmas tree. Mere thought. Just lights went on everywhere, man.
Yeah, it's the fun part about getting old.
Yeah, we're not getting old. As long as you're playing your music, it's just a matter of attitude, baby. You got it going on. All right, bro. We'll talk.
All right.
And I'll get this up. Thank you for your time.
Cool. Great to see you. Grab a harmonica. Come to Florida.
I
Grab a honer. Come to Florida.
know others. I got they're everywhere. They are absolutely every single where in this room and in my cars. And I'm not allowed. If I go show up somewhere, that's the first question. Where's your harps?
Where's your harps?
Okay.
I get yelled at all the time.
Yeah, where's your harps?
I get yelled at all the time.
Yeah, brother, that's good.
Yeah.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.
Don't have to be beautiful to turn me on. I just need your body, baby, from dusk till dawn. You don't need experience to turn me out. You just leave it all up to me. I can show you what it's all about. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm most compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. Hey, all right. my turn. Thank you. One more time for Billy Peterson on the drums.